Hello, hello, hello.
And welcome to the Hildebrand Law Firm topic for today.
I'm Kirsten Hildebrand.
And I'm Matt Kaplan.
And we have a really interesting topic for you today. And it really has to do with that situation that nobody wants to think about, but yet it is something that we may all face. And that is, we are in a situation in a nursing home or in a care facility, or even we're at home, but we can't communicate what it is that our preferences are. And so what do? Like for me, if I was in a situation where somebody was starting to shove like white bread at me, I think I would freak out and nobody would understand why I was upset. But it's because I can't stand white bread. And so what can we do about that, Matt?
Yeah, so we can write down our preferences. There's many different things in the world of estate planning. This all pops into planning. And we can have a document in place that we have signed when we're lucid that just says, if I ever lose my lucidity for one reason or another, but I'm still around, here are the things that I like, here are the things that I don't like. And so you had mentioned white bread. For me, my big thing, seafood. I know they love to serve old people seafood.
Oh, tuna.
I guess because I'm Jewish, I like tuna salad, but I don't like any other seafood. Okay? I don't even like lox. And my family makes fun of me a lot for that.
But what about the lox? Yeah, what about lox and bagels? I didn't know tuna was Jewish.
Oh, tuna, I don't know if tuna's Jewish. I think we've adopted it.
Is that right? Because I thought about salmon, like you guys have that raw salmon.
Yeah.
Which it would freak me out.
People love lox, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that stuff is like $20 a pound.
I know.
It's good stuff
for
people who like it. But anyway, if I ever have dementia, and if you put like fish sticks in front of me or salmon in front of me, I just know that I would just go absolutely nuts. I would say, get this out of my face. And here's the thing, it's for me, but I think it's mainly for other people because they need to know what kind of stuff I'm into, what kind of stuff I'm not into, because studies show that if you ever get dementia or Alzheimer's, if you ever have one of those issues, you tend to like the same things that you liked when you're in a more lucid state. And if there's one thing I know about older people is that they like the things that they like, and there's really no buffering from there.
That's right. They're very concrete about those things by that point, and I understand that because I feel myself getting that way. So one of the documents that we can use is called a caregiver agreement. Now, a caregiver agreement actually ends up sort of have a dual purpose. One of the purposes is that it ends up being, in fact, an agreement with another person or persons to pay them to take care of you so that if you ever did need to apply for Medicaid benefits, those payments would not be considered gifts. Very often, it might be a great niece or a grandchild who is coming in and taking care of the elderly person, say 10 or 15 or 20 hours a week, and they're getting cash. That's about the worst thing that you can do for Medicaid purposes, because Medicaid will say, we see you giving away all of this cash, and we have no evidence or proof that you are getting care. So we think you were just giving your money away, which ends up becoming a major problem then with when you qualify for Medicaid benefits. So a caregiver agreement actually solidifies what the terms of the payment plan is. It is something that Medicaid has sanctioned, so they know that if you're getting paid under that agreement, then you're fine. Now, an important element of that Medicaid compliant caregiver agreement is that you can put your preferences in there. I do or do not like coffee in the morning. I do or do not want to be able to go outside if it's over 50 degrees or if it's under 20 degrees or whatever it is that your preference is. I do or do not like to walk. I'd rather just sit and watch TV, or please don't put me in front of the television, or I want to participate in religious services, or I'm not interested in that. I want to go out and be with my family, or actually, I really don't want to go anywhere once I'm inside of a facility. So these are the sorts of things that you can delineate. And it might seem, say, a little bit persnickety right now, but it is very welcome by the people that are giving you care. They want to know what it is that you do and do not like, because they certainly don't want to deal with an angry person who can't communicate why they're angry.
Right, and it's all so important. You can be as specific as you want. You can say, I like a beer with every dinner. I like a glass of wine on Sundays. I like this type of food once a week. You can even be as specific where I want to go to family events, but only so that I'm not a burden. As long as I'm not a spectacle, I want to go to family events. Or I want to go to family events once in a while. Or I don't ever want to leave. It could literally be anything you want. For some people, that's a big deal. Some people will just say, oh, my spouse knows what I want, all that stuff. Absolutely not. I have been ordering Chipotle for my wife and I. We've been together for almost 10 years now. Every single time I have to ask her what she wants from Chipotle, her order has never changed. Maybe that's just like a man thing.
No,
I have no idea what she likes. I wrote down when I first met her the types of flowers that she likes, and I have to look it up almost every time because I always forget. Because tulips and daisies in my head are the exact same thing, but they are so different. But I don't know the difference because I don't actually care. But she cares. And so when it comes to your preferences, having things written down is very, very important, especially if you're a particular type of person.
Yes, I agree. The more particular you are, like let's say you don't like certain scents. And so now you're in a situation where you're having to smell lilacs, and that's like the worst thing for you. You might want to write that down someplace. The other problem is you don't know whether your spouse or your loved one who knows you like the back of their hand is actually going to be there and able to communicate what your desires and your preferences are. And so we think we know the way this is going to go. I mean, like, for example, I'm pretty darn sure that my husband is going to outlive me by a solid 10 years. But is that really the case? Do we really know that that's what's going to happen? I mean, I might drive him crazy. And then, I'll be on my own. So,
right. Yeah, but if I know that if I'm ever in a nursing home and I have dementia, do not wake me up before 7. Do not put me in front of a Buffalo Bills football game. Do not feed me seafood. Do not have me go outside if it's too cold. I have all these preferences because I know that if they do any of these things that I don't like, that'll put me in an early grave. I am trying to live as long as I can. I have my estate planning in order, so everything is set. I am trying to live as long as I can. If any of these things happen, I just know myself, 40, 50 years from now, I will freak the heck out.
Well, and I'm going to just tell you, if I'm sitting in some bed and I am not moving around and I've got air blowing on me from some kind of fan above, that will absolutely freak me out. I hate it when stuff is blowing at me. So, and if you put a cup of coffee in front of me, I will not drink it. And it's just, to me, I love the smell of it. I can't stand drinking it. So there's all kinds of things like that, right? If you put nasty pizza from the grocery store in front of me, I consider that to be not edible.
See,
hot dogs.
Those are fighting words. Okay, well, we got to do something.
Yeah.
But as you can see, we all have our own preferences. I love coffee. I love grocery store pizza. If I'm in my 80s and I'm incapacitated, no, I had a good run. I don't need any more exercise. I did it. I did a good job. So as you can see, Kirsten and I are night and day different, and so the problem is I would probably want my preferences there because nursing homes, they do a phenomenal job, but you can't expect them to remember what every single resident wants. And so have my preferences there. This way it's for my family, it's for the nursing home. Everybody knows what I want. It's right there in black and white.
And another thing we didn't touch on is some of the, say, semi-medical issues. For example, I get terrible leg cramps at night. Nobody knows that. Well, now all of you do. But I have to do all of these really specific things to make sure that I don't have leg cramps at night. And one of them is putting that soap in my bed. Have you ever heard of that? My husband thinks it's a bunch of voodoo, but it's not. If I have that soap in the bed, then I don't get the leg cramps. And I also have to drink a lot of water.
Wait, like a bar of soap or like liquid soap?
A bar of soap. Yes. I don't know what it is. It's something everything that interacts with between, yeah, I know. Anyway, so there's that. And then there's the fact that I have to take a bunch of magnesium and I have to take potassium. So I have to make sure that I'm eating bananas and I've got to take calcium. Well, that's not going to even be on the radar of anybody, and they won't know, and I'll be seizing up in the middle of the night and not able to get out of bed, not able to do anything about it. It'll be extremely painful, and it's all preventable if I were to write that down. So you too may have something like that people don't really realize is something that you do to compensate for maybe a medical issue that is mild but still can cause a lot of discomfort. Those are the sorts of things that you can put in your agreement.
Yeah, I mean, long story short, you want to live the life that you want to live. I think you should be able to live the life you want to live, even if you cannot communicate those choices. And so having something in place that just shows the world, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what I prefer. It makes everything 10 times easier. This is a super simple document that is in place that your estate planning attorney should be able to draw up for you. Really simple, probably pretty inexpensive, but it really means the world to a lot of people.
And we are happy to do that for you. And if you are interested, don't hesitate to reach out to us, because we are very interested in protecting your today and your tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.